Hello, welcome to the news update on Souq News. I am Ikenna Mba. The federal government of Nigeria has urged the 36 state governors to promptly begin implementing wage awards for workers as a means to alleviate the economic hardships faced by the populace while awaiting the determination of the new minimum wage, emphasizing that such implementation would offer much needed relief without increasing inflationary pressures. This directive was given by Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu during his address in Minna, the capital of Niger State, at the inauguration of the agricultural mechanization revolution for food security and the unveiling of the renovated domestic terminal of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Airport. He called for all states to adopt the wage award, indicating that the Federal Executive Council, FEC, would also follow suit. South Africa's rand maintained its upward trajectory yesterday, retaining gains from the previous week amidst a lack of significant domestic economic updates. The rand stood at 18.67 against the dollar, showing a 0.3% increase from its previous close, while the dollar index saw a modest uptick of nearly 0.2%. Investors awaited inflation data expected on today, which would impact the Federal Reserve's interest rates decisions. Currency analysts anticipated the rand to consolidate within a trading range of 18.60 rand to 18.85 rand in the short term. Mirroring global markets movements, the rand's resilience was partly attributed to last week's surge in gold prices, which remained steady on Monday. Later in the week, South Africa is set to release its gold, mining and manufacturing production figures for January. Meanwhile, on the stock market, the top 40 index closed 0.26% lower and the broader all-share index was down 0.32%. South Africa's benchmark 2030 government bond showed marginal strength, with the yield decreasing by 0.5 basis points to 10.105%. Oil prices remained steady yesterday as concerns over Middle East conflicts affected supply eased and Chinese data suggested weak demand, while an uptick in U.S. refining activity limited any downward pressure. Brent futures for May delivery settled at $82.1 a barrel, up 13 cents, while the U.S. crude April contract slipped 8 cents to close at almost $78 a barrel. Analysts noted conflicting factors keeping oil prices in check, with weaker than expected Chinese data indicating reduced demand despite rising crude oil imports in the first 2 months of the year. Despite ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, such as attacks by Yemen's Houthis on ships in the Red Sea, investors seem unfazed, focusing instead on U.S. data and refining activity. U.S. job growth accelerated in February, but concerns about rising unemployment and moderating wage gains kept interest rates cuts on the table, while an increase in refining utilization hinted at potential tightening of global crude supplies. Highlighting the need to address China's growing influence, a senior U.S. State Department official stressed the importance of utilizing all available resources during the unveiling of the Biden administration's budget request for the 2025 fiscal year. The request includes $4 billion over 5 years in mandatory funding, with $2 billion earmarked to establish an international infrastructure fund aimed at providing credible alternatives to Chinese funding. Rich Verma, who is the Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources, emphasized the necessity of game-changing investments to bolster Indo-Pacific countries against predatory practices, focusing on efforts to enhance governance and the rule of law. Additionally, the State Department focused and requested an additional $4 billion in discretionary funding to support foreign assistance and diplomatic engagement in the region. These initiatives respond to China's extensive Belt and Road Initiative, surpassing U.S. efforts in funding infrastructure projects in developing countries. Verma also underscored the importance of leveraging partnerships and investments to compete effectively with China and defend U.S. interests, emphasizing the focus on transformative, quality, and sustainable infrastructure projects. In a bid to alleviate repayment pressures amid the country's severe economic crisis, Argentina's government has initiated a voluntary debt swap on Monday, targeting peso and some dollar-linked instruments set to mature in 2024. This debt restructuring involves 15 different instruments valued at approximately $65 billion, offering holders the option to exchange them for new inflation-linked instruments maturing between 2025 and 2028. A government source revealed that eligible securities held by the public and private sector for the swap operation amounted to around 64.86 billion, with 70% of the maturities held by the public sector. Despite the rally in Argentine sovereign bonds earlier this year, driven by optimism surrounding President Javier Milei's reforms and fiscal tightening, bonds dipped by an average of 0.5% on Monday. The auction process opened on Monday morning and concluded on Tuesday evening, with settlements of offers scheduled for Friday. Bitcoin increased a new all-time high above $72,000 yesterday, continuing its upward trajectory as the cryptocurrency market showed no signs of slowing down, with Bitcoin up 4.4% at $72,649 and briefly touching $72,739. The surge has been fueled by substantial inflow into new spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds and speculation regarding potential interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. Analysts highlighted the strength and resilience of Bitcoin, attributing the surge to continued market confidence and demand. While capital flows into large U.S. spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds slowed slightly, they still reached nearly $2 billion, indicating sustained investor interests. Moreover, anticipation of Bitcoin's upcoming halving event in April, which will tighten supply, has contributed to the bullish sentiments. Despite the challenges of predicting Bitcoin's price trajectory, the cryptocurrency's growing acceptance is evident as Britain's financial watchdog recently paved the way for digital asset trading products. In the realm of crypto stocks, Coinbase shares rose while shares of crypto miners, Riot Platforms, and Marathon Digital experienced mixed performance. With that, we call it a wrap on the news updates. I am Ike Mba. A hearty thanks